Good afternoon, Javelina Nation, and welcome back to our second Pepsi Tailgate Central show here in Kingsville, Texas. We have plenty in store for y'all, as well as school activities, the game, of course, and we also have other sports coming up. But this week, today, we are playing a nationally ranked team, Midwestern State University. Now, this team is coming to play here at Javelina Stadium, but we do have more about that coming for y'all later on. Now, last week, we did play a team, Simon Fraser, a team coming from Canada, that we actually beat 68-7. And we had our co-host, Breedlove, here, who actually went to the game and got to see an inside scoop on what went on. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, last weekend they played Simon Fraser, a team from the GNAT conference way up north in Vancouver, near Vancouver in British Columbia. And let's just say the Javelinas just throttled them on offense, defense, maybe even special teams. We'll discuss a little bit more about the pros and cons because it was a tune-up game. It was a tune-up game for the Javelinas, and they got a lot to be happy about, a lot to be confident about going into this first Lone Star Conference game against MSU. But there are some cons, some nagging cons that they had from the previous week's game against UIW in San Antonio, which we'll talk a little bit more about that, as well as some other things, of course, with volleyball and cross country just started this weekend down in Corpus. So we'll talk a little bit more about those teams as well as football and what's to come this weekend.
Now, we definitely can't forget to mention that they are undefeated. They are now 2-0 and looking to get that streak continued tonight against Midwestern State. What do you think we're looking at for tonight?
We're looking at, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be probably the closest game we've seen all season long. We saw last year, it's kind of a repeat of last year. We saw the Javelinas come in against UIW, and they played them tough. They lost that game. Then they came in, and I forgot what team they played, but they came in and played a non-conference team and won pretty handily there. But then the next week when they played against MSU, they struggled a little bit. They lost. It was still a relatively close game, but they failed to close out and get that first LSC win. But this team this year is a lot different from last year, so we'll see what is to expect from this team, see how they can step up as they play a game that really, truly does count this weekend.
And you're right, when it comes to LSC conference, they do struggle a little bit. The teams are tougher, they are nationally ranked, most of them are. So it's harder for them. It's harder for them to get back on track and to get those winning ways. But this season is different. They have been finding those winning ways. They are undefeated currently. They're showing to be promising. They even have their backups in third and fourth quarters, so we are hoping for some good news.
Yes, of course.
Now, we do have the tailgate going on right now near Javelina Stadium, and we do have a live reporter giving us the inside scoop that we will see more from later on tonight. Now, I went to the tailgate last week, and it was great. Lots of people, lots of excitement, lots of free food for us. We do have the cameras and the microphones, so they do offer us food. And what did you see at the tailgate last week? I
saw it was a big turnout, which is to be expected from the first weekend of the season. The turnout to the stadium afterwards, because a lot of times people will come out for the tailgate and they may not go to the game, especially as the season wears on. Especially in the previous seasons, as the season wore on, we started accumulating losses. People, they show up for the tailgate, but they don't go stay for the game. But that was certainly not the case last weekend. 10,200 people showed up in the stadium. And of course, kicked off with an excellent tailgate. A lot of good food, a lot of good barbecue, a lot of good alcohol there. But though I'm not technically supposed to drink it, so I abstained from it at least for that day. But like I said, it's very exciting. The people are excited for this season.
Now, Breedlove, let's talk about excitement in the crowds. We saw it at the game. We saw it at the tailgate. You see it everywhere, all over posts, people posting about our Javelinas, lots of excitement. Do you feel pushes pressure on the team?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of hype from the team too. We interact with them on Twitter. We post their videos, and they are very hyped for the season. And people are hyped too. Like, you go to the Facebook comments of the South Texan on the stuff we post, and the common comment you see is this team serious? Are we really this good? And there's a lot of doubt about this team because this team has burned the fans for the last couple of years, especially with the previous coaching regime. But Coach Wilkinson and company hope to make this game against MSU a statement game and say, yeah, this is what we are. We are going to be challenging for that LSC title for real this time.
And he's right. We haven't had a winning way team in a few years, but it's never too late to get back on track with that. Now, one more thing, this weekend is Hall of Fame weekend, as previously mentioned, and what that is more or less is a way to get other teams and other athletes from A&M University-Kingsville to come back and get recognized and get awarded. But we'll have more for that later on after this commercial.
Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
Welcome back to Pepsi Tailgate Central. Now, we left off on the Hall of Fame note, and fun fact about the Hall of Fame is that tonight, the Javelinas will debut their throwback helmets. Now, the helmets are pretty interesting as they do have a two-tone color, blue on top, yellow on the bottom, and they have a sticker of Porky on it. What are your thoughts on this helmet?
I've been waiting for the debut of these helmets for quite a while. I heard a lot of chatter from the guys in athletics about this coming, this new kind of change, little throwback. As you see, we've had a lot of the debate between what we should call this university and Kingsville A&I. This is kind of like a tip of the hat to the past, you know, back when this was called A&I. And then we talk about Porky. This is not the new sleek Porky. This is kind of OG with a little tusk Porky. And so it's kind of a really nice throwback and a little nice tip of the hat to Javelina past. Javelinas of the past, especially with Hall of Fame weekend, which we'll talk a little bit more about soon. And it's good to have a respect for the past of this program and for the players and the students that have came before us.
Now, we mentioned the past, we mentioned throwback. We will be seeing plenty of alumni. This is one of their favorite weekends to come to, as it does emphasize on previous athletes, previous teams, so they are pretty proud of that. Now, speaking of teams, we do have plenty of teams coming for this game, and we do have plenty that were inducted in the Hall of Fame last night.
Yes, I mean, it's more than just teams. We've had several well-known individuals that hold many records here. We first talk about Andrea Retkovic. She's going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame, and she was a track and cross-country star in the 80s, and she was fantastic. We'll probably have a little bit more of that with our report from last night's banquet, as I'm just going through the names here. We have Steve Foley. He holds I believe about 6 to 8 records in the Javelina record book for baseball. And so he was a powerhouse, had a crazy, unreal season in 1998. We hit 427, so very well for him. And then, of course, probably the most well-known name off this Hall of Fame inductee list for 2016 is Roberto Garza, the football player, the guy who played for the Bears, made his name with the Bears. He played for the Javelinas between 1998 and 2001. And he did more than football. He was also probably even better at shot put. So he's a great all-around athlete, great guy, works for ESPN Deportes a bit. So he's like I said, one of the more well-known. Of course, we have the 95-96 basketball team, which features Johnny Estelle, head coach of the Javelinas right now.
That's true. Johnny Estelle, head coach of the Javelinas currently, and his team will also be making a presence here at the Hall of Fame, as well as some current track stars, one being Kaina Martinez, who broke some records here. Now here's a closer look at Hall of Fame weekend.
Hey Javelina Nation, I'm Ashley Gonzalez with your Javelina Broadcast Network. We're in the second floor of the Student Union building for the Javelinas Hall of Fame. Tonight we'll be getting to know the athletes that will be inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. Okay, hey Javelina Nation, I'm with one of the inductees for the Hall of Fame, Andrea. Andrea, how does it feel to be inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight?
It feels great. Feels validated. It's a great honor. I love this school. A lot of kids come through here that are really talented, so I'm very humbled by it.
Would you say you're a Javelina at heart?
Absolutely. I actually brought my Texas A&I, not Texas A&M, Texas A&I sweatshirt from the track team from 1987.
And how does it feel to have such great honor on your name now that you've been inducted?
I'm just super humbled by it. I'm almost speechless. I don't know how to thank the voting committee because I know there's a lot of people that they could have chosen, and they chose me, and so I'm very grateful.
Also, I'm very, very, very grateful for this honor and this opportunity to be here and to see all of you.
Hey, Javelina Nation, I'm with one of the inductees, Steve. Steve, one of the awards you got was?
I set 6 single-season records that year, and hits or runs scored, home runs, stuff like that. So it was a good year. We had a great team, and it was kind of just fun to be a part of it.
Awesome. What would advice be to student athletes that want to be in your position one day?
Oh man, just work hard and try. I'm not a big guy. I'm not anything special. I came from Canada, so I mean, there's a lot more baseball down here than there is up there. It's just try hard and never give up, and you can do anything you want.
I'm here with the Roberto Garza. He was with the Chicago Bears for 10 years and the Atlanta Falcons for 4. Roberto Garza, how does it feel to be a Hall of Famer?
It feels great. You know, this is where my dream started. Kingsville gave me an opportunity to come out and play, and been very fortunate to go out and play in the NFL for 14 years, and to be able to come back and be inducted into the Hall of Fame here means a lot to me. There's been a lot of great players in the past that have this honor, and just to be mentioned with those guys is truly an honor for me and my family, and really feels special to be here today and enjoy this with everybody.
How does it feel to get out there from a tiny place like Kingsville?
You know, that was one of the deals. You know, when I came out, a lot of people didn't know about me, but they knew about the history of Kingsville, and you know, there a lot of NFL players prior to me coming out. So I just had to go out there and do the things that I was taught here in Kingsville by Joe Harms and Coach Ron Harms and all the coaches that were here before, and go out there and play football. You know, it comes down to going out there and fighting for it every single day, and that's everything that I learned here at Javelina's.
For the Javelina Broadcast Network, I'm Ashley Gonzalez, and that's a wrap.
Thank you for that. Now, as you can see, Hall of Fame weekend is a big deal. It is essentially a homecoming for teams and athletes that excelled in their sports prior to an actual homecoming here later on in the season. And what a coincidence that we would play Midwestern State University, a big game for us, on a big weekend for us.
Yeah, of course. We're hoping that these guys that played in championship teams and won national championships even for the Javelinas come to the stadium, bring some of that good vibes, that championship vibe and energy and rub it off on our players a bit, because they're going to need it, because it's going to be a tough matchup versus these Mustangs.
What I'm thinking is that our coaches or our players are going to try to at least want to impress these athletes that have come so far, who did well in their sports, to kind of show them what Javelina football is all about. Especially Roberto Garza. If he is going to be in the house, he's going to be watching these guys closely, and he wants to see another championship here. Now, don't get us wrong. We are not wearing red in favor of Midwestern State University. This is their colors. But we are hoping for a favor in the Hogs tonight. Yep. And we'll be back after this commercial break.
Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
Welcome back to Pepsi Tailgate Central. I'm Marcus Frazier from the men's basketball team. Hope you all enjoy the first episode of Pass the Fast Break.
Fall. It's the off-season in Tamuk for Javelina basketball, which means the court doesn't get to see live action for a few months. But who's to say the hard work can't start before opening tip-off in November? The Hogs have been on a steady track under the helm of head coach and former Javelina great himself, Johnny Estelle. It's his third season, and every season just seems to get better than the previous. It's tremendous to see win totals jumping from one mark to the next. But upon losing players of the likes of starters like Troy Jones, Jamar Goodwin, and DJ Weathers, it could be tough to revamp the squad. There's no telling how Coach Estelle plans to do it. However, it's plain to see. He has all offseason to make it happen.
Troy Jones, Jamar Goodwin, and DJ Weathers are left, correct?
Yes.
Who do you expect to replace those players in those positions?
You know, those three, man, they was unbelievable in terms of setting the foundation to this program when I took over. You know, you have to start somewhere, you know, and there was another guy in that group named DeJuan Wright that we set out due to injury last year with a shoulder injury that's back at 100% now. That's a part of that group as well. So, you know, DeJuan would ascend to that position, in my opinion. Marcus Frazier is another senior. Tim Singleton is another guy, and Tomas Diaz. You know, Tomas has actually been in the program longer than everybody. You know, he was here before I was here, and he's a great student athlete, a great leader, a good representative of our program on and off the court. So those guys will be, you know, entrusted. This program will be entrusted in them at the beginning. But leadership can come from anywhere. You know, I've coached in junior college for 14 years, and I've had freshmen that led our team. You know, we only have sophomores and freshmen at that level. So leaders can come at different, you know, capacities. They can come in different age groups, but you got to earn the right to be a leader.
What's up, baby? It's what's this, week 3? I don't know. Week 3 bodies is tired. I'm tired.
Oh my gosh, bro! I gotta take this. This chick just was like, that chick just said, bro. No, I ain't get this, bro. Oh my gosh, bro! I ain't get this. Bro, I had this chick that was following me around, bro. She was following me around, bro. I ain't want this. Bro, I went to go get some posters at the store, and they gave me the wrong one. I ain't paid for it, but I gotta go get that bag. I need that. Look at this. We already on the beach, but I need a picture for it. You be tripping. I know. Everywhere we go, we clean. She want me to put that lean. It's like a ring around cocaine. How you gonna move? I'm throwing all that. Like, I'm just really hard to get past because I'm just a great defender. Like, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You can't do nothing. So it don't matter. Break them off, bro. Oh, you're gonna have to show me something, man. I'm too big. Break them off, bro. Oh. Touching that rock. Slap! Don't dribble it again.
Oh, he go out here and laugh.
He laughed because I'm getting on your ass. That's why he laughing. Yeah.
Hey, don't be cussing on camera, bro.
Man, he ain't put this on. Man, this ain't live right now, man. This ain't even live. Yeah, it is. Cussing on camera. It's the editing.
Yeah, what?
Bro, hold that ball.
Got no VDSs on me?
Yeah.
Can you explain
explain to me what is no excuses, just commitment?
You know, it's unique. When I was at Navarro and I took over the program, I wanted a catchphrase that I could say that wasn't very long-winded. I tend to be long-winded. You know, I know you guys know that as you ask my players because I tend to coach with a lot of passion, so I tend to use my own life and stories and things like such. But I wanted to come up with something that brought us together. You know, something that would de-escalate situations, something that when we were having a tough time or we want to, you know, give a lot of thought into, well, why are we doing well? It's because no excuses, just commitment. We're committed to excellence. We're not managing failure. You know, managing failure is not a part of our program. Commitment just makes you go the extra mile. No excuses is not commitment. Excuses are a way that you're not committal. So it's a way that we check each other every day, staff included, to say, hey, no excuses, just commitment. Get the job done. No matter what the circumstances are, no matter what's going on, we're going to band together and we're going to do this together.
You know, I got a buzz this in my back right now, man. So I got to sit out for a week or two. But in a couple more weeks, I'm going to be back out there with my team. We're going to be working. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be good work.
Dwan, you're going to be the one shooting the ball. I want you to shoot it, and I want you to break to go rebound. I only want about 2 steps, though, okay? Now, you got to lay some wood on them, and then go get the rebound, okay? All right? Here we go. With 2 hands. I got ball.
Rebound, go get it.
Ball. Hey, you must help. If you're in help, you need to be in help. Help. Okay? All right. Hey, and then when you close out, you can't close out and just stand there. You got to close out and you got to put a body on it. Okay?
Just move. We have one down here. You got wingspan. Use it.
Offense, catch that ball, score out.
I got ball. Good. Ball. Good.
Swing through.
Good. Top, head up.
Here we go, Rob. Stay down, Dom. Good, Rob. Give me 2 groups.
Oh man, I tell you what, probably one of the funniest facts is my children. I mean, I have 4 children, you know, and a wife. I met my wife here. That's not a fun fact. That was a good thing for me. But I have a son that's 23, that's finishing grad school. I have a daughter that's actually a sophomore here, that's 19. I have a daughter that's a sophomore in high school, that's 15. And then I have a 3.5-year-old son, and he came along at the end there. We call him Baby Oops. But no matter how he came, he's a blessing from God. He's a great joy to me and my wife and our family. So if I want to say a fun fact, I've got every situation from a graduate term paper to getting a job to, Dad, you know, my tummy hurts. You know, I need my diaper changed. Well, he's potty trained now, so he don't need to be, you know. So, but Dad, I got to go potty. So we've got it covered, anywhere in between.
Hey, fellas.
When you miss a layup, you got to get that 10 in.
We're not very good, are we? I mean, let's be honest, right? Not yet. That's right. We're going to be really good defensively. But offensively, I don't think we missed the shots where we didn't score in that possession. Okay, so, hey, we got to make sure that we're helping each other. We're kind of letting people go by, but we're not even there to help, okay? We got to do better on the ball, though, okay? We got to do better. And then our transition defense at corner 3, Dwan had an opportunity, drove, kicked. Fellas, everyone's got to corral to the ball, okay, in transition. That's transition defense is stopping the ball, okay? All right, but overall, good effort.
Offensively, that was a good way to push the ball. Okay, we got a lot of layups, a lot of transition. It lets us know that we're getting comfortable. Half-court-wise, we got to get a little bit more acclimated to what we're doing, though. There was still a lot of people running around looking like they got their head cut off. Okay, that'll come with time. That'll come with patience. But we got to make sure that we understand the concepts of everything we're doing. A couple of you asked me, Coach, what play we're running. We haven't talked about one play, one time, right? This is all just straight 50. It's all read and reactions. Okay, you got to understand where you belong on the court. What happens if the ball goes here? What happens when the ball goes there? We still got plenty of work to do. That's what that proved. Okay, we're getting there. We're doing a good job of everything we're doing. High energy, high intensity. We're listening, but we got to understand it's also we got to know where we go. Okay, and that'll come with time. But overall, keep that energy up, keep that effort up.
All right, let's talk about today a little bit. Today was about, let's get out of our comfort zone. And the practice is going to get like that more and more. Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's a term that a guy told me about that's out there now called a condition, a mental situation called being passive aggressive. You know, what does passive aggressive mean? Anybody have an idea what that means? Yeah. You're mad, but you ain't gonna say nothing. You're not gonna say anything. Excuse my language, but my English. But you're not gonna say anything. But you're really frustrated, so you start kind of, you know, mumbling under your breath, or pouting, or you know, you're sitting there, you know, throwing things around, but not, you know. And somebody says, "What's wrong, man?" "Oh, nothing." No, we got to be passive aggressive. I'm gonna pass my aggression on to people who can't play as hard as we need them to play. I'm going to put that pressure on you. That's the way you train soldiers. How do we train soldiers? Would you like to charge the hill, or would you not like to charge the hill? Would you want a condition today? Do you want to learn how to shoot this gun today? No, you don't want to shoot. No, you go lay in the air conditioner. No, there's not a lot of questions. There's just people that just pick up the shovel and dig when it's their turn to dig. They handle responsibility. This is not the Army. Those people are putting their life on line for us to have freedom. I'm not even comparing that. What I am comparing to what we're doing is it's a pride deal. They do it for the defense of you and I. They do it for pride. They want this country to be number one. What do you want this team to be? Do you want this team to be number one? Then let's work like number one dudes. Let's work like number one people. Let's give these people, when they come, there's 16 home games. The most home games in I don't know how long, right, Mr. Larry? We used to play 12, 13. We had played 11. There's 16 times that our fan base gets to come to see us play. They want to see dudes flying around. They want to see dudes ducking that ball. They want to see dudes pushing that basketball, shooting the 3-ball, and making it, and then turn around and guard. They're not looking at us coming down here trying to score 35, 40 points. Well, look at our football team. Our biggest opponent, our football team, they scored 40 points in one quarter last week. Can we score 40 or 50 a half? I looked at some old stats. It ain't about me, but I looked at some old stats. Man, I didn't know. I forgot. We scored 127 in a game when I played it. When we got people down, that was just the beginning. We didn't let up. We didn't have no second team, third team. Everybody was the same. So if you got out there and you didn't want to play that day, that's your fault. We got to play. And that's the way I want you to be. We're not conditional. We don't have on and off switches. We may not win every game, but we're going to compete and play hard from 1 to 14, and we're going to give you everything we got. We're going to be a great teammate, unselfish, and we're going to play this game with a whole bunch of heart and a strong mind. Some of you have a strong mind, but your heart isn't where it needs to be. Some of you have a strong heart, but your mind needs strengthening. When we get them two together, woo, you got to watch out. You better watch out. Now you got an illegal weapon. Coach, he's only 6'3". It don't matter. He's a lethal weapon because he's what you call a warrior. A warrior. When you get the warrior status, dude, you can walk barefoot in any hood in America. You can moonwalk in Compton. You can Michael Jackson over there in Alexandria, Louisiana in the bottom. You can walk through 5th Ward, Texas, and ain't got to blink an eye. You can go to ATL. Yes, sir. And do more than eat barbecue. But when you ain't confident in yourself and you ain't put the work in, it takes a lot of courage to take that first step out the car. We got to take the first step. I've been taking first steps my whole life. I ain't afraid to take first steps. How about you? You should have no fingernail, dude. Every time I look up, you biting your. Are you nervous or hungry? It is a bad habit. Come on, Mr. Larry. All right, Reverend E. We need to pray for Mr. Larry. We got to get him back to where he's dunking. He used to dunk the ball. Cross him up there, Mr. Larry. Ball down. Come on, Trey. Ready, buddy? All right, let's go.
All right, guys, close your eyes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing this family together again, Lord. Lord, we thank you for bringing Mr. Larry down here with safe travels. Please watch over him and help him with his recovery. Help him continue to support the Javelinas in every sport. Continue to help my team grow each and every day, mentally and physically. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
This is my team.
All right, check this out right here. Javelina's on 3. You say that, count it down for us.
1, 2, 3.
Javelinas!
Hope you enjoyed the first episode. Tune in again at tammook.tv. Next home game at 2 o'clock. We'll be right back. Go Havs.
Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
Welcome back to Pepsi Tailgate Central. Now, Javelina football fans, get ready for this news. The Javelinas did receive 36 votes in the American Football Coaches Association that was released on Monday. Now, this is a poll that gets voted on each and every week. Last week against Incarnate Ward, when the Javelinas won, they did receive 12 votes.
Oh yes, yeah. This team, they've are looking for respect, and getting these votes is the first step. If they can win, especially if they win decisively against this Mustang team, they will most certainly, I would be surprised, I would be shocked if they win tonight and they don't make the polls. This is a very tough Midwestern State team. I believe they're about in the top 10, thereabouts in the poll. And a win right here would, as cliche as it sounds, would be a statement game for the Javelinas to say, hey, we are not only one of the top teams in the LSC, we are one of the top teams in the nation. And that would be one heck of an accomplishment for Coach Wilkinson and company.
And that's true. This is a big game for the Javelinas. If they do win, they will receive more votes, beating a nationally ranked team, which might put us higher up in the rankings, possibly even nationally ranked, which hasn't really happened in a few years.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. It's been about 6 years since we've had a team that has been this highly ranked, this highly valued by the voters. So, like, this is a really big deal. It's 6 years feels like an eternity to some of these fans. So this is, Coach Wilkinson came in, he laid down the foundation, like we said last week. He laid down that foundation in 2015, and now we see what is those fruits starting to bear this season.
Now, one other fun fact for y'all: the Javelinas beating Simon Fraser 68-7 recorded a new highest points in a game since 1976.
Yes, yeah, 40 years ago. And like I said, this Simon Fraser team may have not been the strongest team, but the Javelinas sure did show up. That first quarter stats alone, 322 yards total offense in that first half. Not in the first half, the first quarter. While they held the Klan to about 26 yards. It was a very impressive feat. Miles Carr was automatic. 7 for 8. 4 of those 7 completed passes were for touchdowns. 3 of them were to Anthony Autry. I mean, he didn't get any touchdowns last week, but he came in, he kind of broke through that barrier, got those touchdowns. He was very impressive game, 109 yards. And as the game wore on, the Javelinas were up 40-0 at the end of the first quarter. That was enough for Coach Wilk to put in the backup, Daryl Adams. Now, Adams, he struggled early on. He was under fire because, Coach Wilk, he also put in a lot of the backups, a lot of the bench guys on the line to get him some reps to rest up the starters for the coming game tonight. So he put in some of the backup guys on line as well. And Daryl Adams, he was kind of under fire. He was, as the cliche goes, he was thrown to the fire. It was a trial by fire. He had 3 sacks. He struggled to get a lot of passing yardage. He was like about 4 for 8 for 22 yards. But of course, the Javelinas were playing run the clock out, let's get this game over with at the time. So they were running it quite a bit often. But he was very good on the rushing attack. He led the Javelinas to those last quarters for 82 yards rushing. So they bootlegged him quite a bit. And he managed to avoid some of the defense of the Simon Fraser defense. So he did an impressive showing as well. As far as special teams, the defense, first off, let's talk about defense. Defense shut down as per usual. And I give a lot of praise to the secondary last week, but the key for the Javelinas so far this season has been that defensive line. They put so much pressure on these quarterbacks. And the Simon Fraser guy, I mean, God bless his soul, he was under fire for most of the game. He was greeted mostly. He saw nothing but Javelina defenders all around him, swarming him, and he had to get that ball out somewhere. So he threw a couple of interceptions. Javelina's got a couple of those. Forrest Jones, I believe he is a bench guy, came in. He got a big interception. There were 2 pick sixes, almost in successive order. The Javelinas were just lights out defense. And as we go into this game against MSU, it'll be very important to keep that defensive pressure on these quarterbacks, force them to make mistakes like they did against Simon Fraser as we go into this game.
Now, you mentioned our backup quarterback struggling a little bit. You can't expect the backup to come in and, be in total rhythm with the offense already and the offensive linemen. It takes a little bit of adjusting to get used to. Even though they practice together, it still is different in a realistic game, a game situation.
Yeah, but as you saw, as he first came out on fire, I think the very first play, Adams was sacked. A very kind of auspicious start for him. But as the game went on, he got into the groove of things. Like he said, they started rushing him a bit more. Like I said, he is kind of a step down from Carr, but he's still getting his leggings down. He's still getting that was his, I believe, his Javelina debut, his collegiate debut. So you can't expect too much from a guy coming straight off the bench in that scenario, but we'll see if he'll be of any use come later in the season, knock on wood for Miles Carr, or if the Javelinas might once again get an opponent where they put the pedal to the metal and get a big lead, maybe they'll put him in, try to give him some more reps. So we'll see how Daryl Adams fits into this season, but more likely into next season, as he'll be competing with the guy out of Katy, Cade Dial, for the starting position. So that will be a very interesting thing come 2017.
That really will, and he already showed to be proven above him by getting chosen to go into the third and fourth quarter. And not only that, but he's competing against so many, and we can't have Miles Carr forever, so he'll eventually be graduating. So we need to see and develop our upcoming quarterbacks.
Exactly, and Cade Dial, he's got a lot of pedigree coming out of Katy High School. Like we said, he beat a lot of Manziel's passing records, so it will be interesting to see if Daryl Adams can hold his own, if he can improve his mechanics, get his arm working a little bit better than it is last weekend. We'll see how that shakes up. But it's a good thing to have quarterback competition, because you want these guys to push themselves more than they push themselves in high school. Because a lot of these guys, when they're in high school, they're usually kind of have it pretty easy. Usually you got the one quarterback guy who can dominate. But when you get to the college level, there's a lot more competition. The defenses are much more stiff, and they have to, improve themselves and show that they are the best, and that they can lead this team into the future.
I think it's really interesting how we got him, someone who passed Johnny Manziel's records, here at A&M University-Kingsville, a Division II school. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he had a lot of, Cade Dial you're talking about, he had a lot of connections to Kingsville. His father and his mother met here. They still live in the area. So there are a lot of connections. I was talking to Robbie Brown. Robbie Brown actually was in some classes with his father. We'll have Robbie Brown later on the show. And he talked a little bit about Cade Dial to me, I believe, off camera. And he said, I actually was in a couple of classes with him, and he's a really good guy. Compared to Manziel, he's got a much stronger head on his shoulder. He wasn't into the party scene like Manziel, so he's a very smart player. And Daryl Adams will have his work cut out next year when he competes for the job.
And that's exactly what we need. Now, he mentioned Anthony Autry as well, and Miles Carr. Miles Carr did not throw an interception. He has not thrown one all season so far. Anthony Autry, 3 touchdowns, getting closer up in the leaderboard as touchdowns caught. And we do have some stats for y'all that's pretty interesting. The Javelinas do lead the nation in these stats. They are first in passes intercepted. They are first in completion percentage. They're first in defensive touchdowns, second in rushing defense, and we also have individual stats. Miles Carr is first in completion percentage, first in passing efficiency, and for fumbles recovered, we have Devontae Williams coming in first as well.
Yeah, they had a lot of help from that Simon Fraser game. That kind of bloated their stats up, it gave them bigger stats than they would against a much more evenly competitive opponent. But that doesn't take away from their performance last weekend. Very strong performances, but there were some cons. We had some difficulties with special teams once more. Most of the yardage Simon Fraser gained were off returns. And the coverage will need to tighten up as they face more tougher teams. There was also some snafus on the point after attempts. We had one kick blocked, and we had another one I believe was just a straight up miss early on the first quarter. It didn't really matter too much because the Javelinas had such a big lead at the time, but those will need, as you play teams like MSU, you play Commerce, West Texas is looking pretty good this season, you have to make those, because these games are going to be tighter and tighter as you go along. Also, like I said, I mentioned the sloppiness. There were 3 15-yard penalties just in the first quarter. And in fact, I talked to Coach Wilkinson afterwards, and I said, and I didn't even finish my question, I said, so you had 3 15-yard penalties in the first quarter, and he said, yeah, and he just took it from there and started going off about how they really need to tighten up and play a lot cleaner game if they want to remain competitive in this conference.
Now, those are 2 things we do see that occurred last year. We saw the penalties last year, plenty of them actually, and we also saw special teams a little bit struggling there, which we really can't have because we're going to be facing harder teams coming up, and we can't leave them in good field yardage already. Yeah,
of course. It's going to be very important. We talked about their big guy punting, Dylan Scherer, but they had Tristan Hernandez get a few kicks out there, and he did all right. So they're not booming. They're not Jankowski levels of Jankowski of the Raiders level of punting, but they do the job.
Exactly. Now, last week's game, Simon Fraser, was a big game for us. We scored so many touchdowns in the first quarter. I remember I was thinking, should I even still film highlights afterwards? Like, we have so many touchdowns recorded. But we have that for y'all right now. Forrest, congrats on a big game. You guys did get the win 68-7. You had a pick six. Now, pick six seems to be the word everybody thinks of when seeing you. Take us through that play and what happened in that moment.
Coach Brown just teaches us to attack the ball. So I'm thinking the ball's up there, go attack it. Tried to stay in bounds. Once I stayed in bounds, I saw yellow and blue in front of me, so I just followed my teammates and took it to the end zone.
Confidence, big game. You did have your first collegiate start. What was that like on the field, being on there for the first time as a college athlete?
Well, it was normal because, I'm used to being under pressure, so being under pressure and going against other athletes is something I do all the time. So, I had fun with it. It was a great experience.
Now, preparation going to Midwestern State University, a nationally ranked team. You all are moving up in the polls, moved up 36 votes. What's that like?
Well, that don't faze us at all. That national rankings don't faze us at all. I feel like we're going to go in there, good competition. They're going to come in our house. They're going to think they can beat us, but we're going to show them what's really good.
Nick, big win against Simon Fraser for y'all. Team coming from Canada. You did have your first career touchdown. You are a sophomore. What was that like?
I felt great to, just break out that first run and get my first touchdown. I didn't know how to act, so had to calm myself down a little bit.
Now, you all did beat this team 68-7, one of the biggest leads, breaking history. How does it feel to be a part of history this season?
It feels good to go out there and do that for the fans, especially the alumni. There in the crowd, and we worked really hard on that, so we pride ourselves in doing that.
2-0, undefeated. Probably one of the best starts so far in a little while that we've had these rough seasons. How do you plan to keep it up?
Well, we plan to work hard every day in practice and plan to beat Midwestern, and that can just build us forward to just winning away games as well.
Yeah, you know what? We as a coaching staff aren't letting our guys have any kind of ego. It's pretty. We're 2-0, but we still know where we're coming from. All right, this program hasn't done anything this year. There's not any sign up on our press box that says most consecutive non-conference wins. We won 2 non-conference games, and we got a conference game this week, and that's where our money is earned as far as what we're trying to get accomplished. We want to put number 35 up on our board.
Midwestern State had a bye week last week. Do you think that will factor into how this game will be played out, considering you don't have as much time to prepare as they did?
Yes and no. They certainly had 2 weeks to look at film on us, but we only had one game for them to look at the 1 week, and so it's not like they're going in and reinventing the wheel against us. They're the same team that they've been for. They've had the same coordinators on both sides of the ball for I believe 8 years, and so they run the same offense, run the same defense, same stuff on special teams, and so we know what we're expecting with them. And I think if anything, it's in our favor a little bit, and that they've only played one game. They've only played one game where they've been going at full speed against another opponent. And us having 2 games under our belt and having that experience, that goes in our favor definitely.
Give me a blue! Blue! Give me a gold! Gold! What that mean? Midwestern! What that mean?
As you can see, a huge blowout. The Javelinas taking the win. Big things to expect from our football team tonight as they take on Midwestern State University. Now we have our reporter Ashley Gonzalez live at the tailgate having all the fun. Let's see what she's up to.
Hey Javelina Nation, I'm Ashley Gonzalez with the Javelina Broadcast Network. We're here with
Johnny Moreno.
Hi Johnny, what do we got going on tonight?
Today we're having fajitas, specialty fajitas and sausages. We're going to be cooking for IBC Bank. They want our sponsors for that department. So that's what we're doing for today.
All right, everyone seems to know you. Everyone knows your name. Why is that?
Well, because I'm the cook for the athletic department, and I've been doing it for almost 10 to 12 years. And I get to meet a lot of people, and they come to our tent. I go to their tent. We share our food. I talk to everybody. I enjoy the atmosphere out here because I'm a great person. I'm real nice to everybody. I enjoy everybody. I mean, make people laugh, and I enjoy what I'm doing out here. It's very awesome.
Awesome. And what are your predictions for tonight?
Tonight, it'll be about 31-21. I hope the boys can put it together. Work as a team, not as an individual, because it took the coach at chemistry to get it together, to work onto it as a team. And I think the boys already bought into a system that they already learned the system because it's fast paced. And I'm sure now it's a team, as a family. Like here we are as a family. And we're hoping that they can get it together and we can bring a W for the school and for the department.
Awesome. So you're a Javelina fan at heart?
Yes, ma'am. For many, many years. I was born as a Javelina. I used to come here when I was a little boy. I would come out here every home games. It's very beautiful. I enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was awesome.
Back to you, Ted.
Thank you, Ashley. It seems like you're having a lot of fun out there. We wish we were there ourselves. Now, after this commercial break, keep watching because we will have Jared Wyatt with the LSC Roundup.
Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
This is Jared Wyatt with the Javelina Broadcast Network, and this is the LSC Football Roundup Show. I'm here with Mr. Lewis Bradshaw and Mr. Robbie Brown. How's it going, gentlemen?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, good, doing well. So we're kind of mid-swing going into football season, week 2 now. So last week was kind of a show here down in Kingsville, I'd say. If you'd ask me, what did you guys have to say or think about how Mr. Carr performed in that opening quarter?
He was flawless. I mean, we didn't get stopped once. I think we had one third down play, and he was just hitting everything on all cylinders, just like the week before.
Definitely.
I agree. Of course, the competition out of that team wasn't, the best in the world. So it's hard to compare it really to anything. But he's had 2 really good games in a row.
Yeah, Simon Fraser, I mean, not necessarily an opponent you would think that's going to give much of a contest, but still, we still showed up and clicked on all cylinders and,
Yeah.
I mean, ran, I think, 68 plays, and with such efficiency, most of our receivers got a chance to touch the ball, and even our second stringers got a chance to, really get some reps in, so that just proved to be kind of, what we needed going into week 3 as conference play comes in, don't you think?
I think it's great that Darrow Adams got a chance to take some snaps at quarterback, almost 3 full quarters worth. Looked like the coaches dialed back on the playbook a little bit with him in there, but he needs game experience because you never know when that backup quarterback's going to have to step in.
Right. I mean, we don't want Carr to go down. Never a good thing to think about. But just in case, it's good to have somebody who's seen the defense in live action and knows what to expect. Right.
Yeah.
Good deal, guys. Also on defense, I mean, seems like, as far as, defense, got a shutout. It's a goose egg. So what do we see out of the secondary and, or even out of the linebackers that we could kind of look forward to going in conference play?
Well, secondary looked great. Of course, their quarterback was running for his life. We had pressure on him all game, and he was looked at times like he was just chucking the ball up. And but the DBs made plays on the ball, and I don't think I've seen us run three picks back for touchdowns in a single game ever.
Yeah, 3 pick six. That's pretty impressive. I haven't seen something like that, I think, since Alabama and A&M back in 2013.
Yeah, the defense that's what I'm most excited about. Obviously, the offense is playing well. Carr, just keep it up. But our defensive unit has stepped up. They really have.
It's been really good.
Linebackers, everything looks good.
Good. I mean, lots of pressure. Like you said, he was just kind of seemed like he was running for his life back there, throwing the ball up, and 3 pick sixes kind of tells you the whole story. So yeah, Simon Fraser, they came into Kingsville and ended up going to the woodshed. But coming back, we've got Midwestern State next week coming into town. We're going to see what they've got to bring and got to the table.
Well, it's going to be a whole different ball game with them coming
Totally,
in here.
totally.
They've beaten us 5 times in a row, and I think 10 out of 11. So, Bill Maskell has got them to be where they're the most consistent team in the Lone Star Conference in conference play. And they usually run the ball well. Their defense is always a bend but don't break type of defense, but they haven't seen a team from Javelina land this good since 2010.
That's exactly right. And we came within, what was it, Robbie? 8 points last year of beating them there. And so our guys are ready. I think they as many seniors as we have, most of them remember. And of course, 7 games last year, I think we lost by less than 10 points.
I mean, that's an interesting statistic when you put that up there. You got Midwestern, who's like I said, beat us 5 years in a row. So
Yeah, they're a ranked team also.
And they're also ranked, so it's going to be interesting to see how we respond after a 68-0 shellacking of Simon Fraser. See if we don't get too complacent. And
well, the last time that I remember us having a game like this last week was in 2005, and this is a bad thing.
Yeah.
We beat Texas College 62-0, and they were about the same caliber. The following week, we went up to West Texas A&M and lost there. I think we had like 5 or 6 turnovers and just basically did not play focused football.
And that
I don't
turned
think we'll
around.
have that problem this week.
And that turned West Texas around. That win was pivotal.
Yeah, it legitimized their program to their team.
It sure did.
It gave them all the confidence in the world.
well, we've got a chance to play at home instead of going on the road. I think that'd be a good test for us.
Absolutely.
Well, let's go to a commercial break really quick. We'll be right back with the LSC Roundup show here at the Javelina Broadcast Network.
Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
How's it going? I'm Jared Wyatt, and we're back with the LSC Football Roundup show. Here again with Mr. Bradshaw and Mr. Robbie Brown. And got a chance to talk about A&M Kingsville and how we were able to come in and have our first home game here and get to come out with a goose egg. And we're going to transition over to Angelo State and talk about them a little bit and how they fared last week versus Northern Michigan.
Well, they did a really good job. That's a long trip, to take, and fortunately for them, the game was indoors. I don't know what the weather's like up in northern Michigan, but I know it's cooler than here. And they showed a great deal of improvement from week one, cut down on their turnovers, and ended up coming out with a nice, tough road win for them.
Yeah, see, they nearly had, 428 yards of total offense. The quarterback was able to get things clicking. You had, favored, I guess, one INT and one TD, and then you also have Stevens on the ground, almost 81 yards, and another guy, 74 yards, I'm sorry. And so that just proved to be kind of even on the ground.
Well, and Fred Lawrence getting that interception in the third overtime. Northern Michigan had the ball first, and that meant all Angelo State had to worry about was setting up for a field goal, and good win for the Rams.
Yeah, triple overtime. I mean, that's kind of insane to go somebody else's house, 3 OTs, and kind of just take that carpet from right under their feet, kind of sort of. You also had 80 plays run by Angelo State. That's high octane offense.
Well, I don't know how many of those were in regulation. With 3 overtimes, probably another 15 or so plays. So,
Okay.
but still, just a gutty effort by them.
Yeah, they were able to kind of squeeze out. Next week starts conference play. They get a chance to go to Tarleton and get it done.
I expect the Rams offense to really start clicking against Tarleton. Tarleton's defense doesn't look like it's improved over last year. They gave up 550 yards last week, I think, to Southwest Baptist. So Todd Witten's going to need a little bit more time to get that program turned around.
Yeah, Southwest Baptist team that just kind of just came in and just did anything they wanted. I mean, they were still a little lower than 50% on third down, and they still struggled against Southern Baptist.
Yeah, and Southern Baptist, though, or Southwest Baptist, beat Eastern New Mexico the week before, so they've got the LSE's number this year, but Tarleton, at home, that's a game that they should win. I'm worried about them this year.
Okay. Well, let's move on to West Texas A&M. They defeat a struggling CSU Pueblo program that's kind of looking like they're on the last bits of their legs here.
Well, you lose a 2,000-yard rusher and graduate several other seniors with all that experience, and there's going to be a drop-off in most programs, and this may just be that down year for them.
Yeah, we see it was 26-10. You had quarterback Ethan Brinkley. It was 22 of 33 for 196 yards and threw a touchdown there, and you had Devon Pay for 19 carries and 100 yards.
Yeah.
Just really balanced on that offense. You see.
But it looks like the defense for the Buffaloes this year is really the unit that's leading them to go on the road and hold Pueblo to 10 points. Is quite an accomplishment. They played well in the opening week as well, and now they get to be the bad guy that goes into Permian Basin and try and stop that powerhouse out of Odessa.
Yeah, TPB, they sure are making a stand right now with 2 wins. 2-0 undefeated.
Well, they haven't been to Javelina Stadium yet.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when they make it down this way.
Yeah.
Change from that West Texas heat to that southern humidity.
That's
it.
Okay.
Permian Basin's doing well. They've only played a D3 and an NAIA school, but being their first 2 games, the other teams were more experienced and had the cohesiveness, and Permian Basin played well, got the 2 wins.
And it seems like that they've been getting ready for football for as long as I can remember. It's been a long, planned-out deal, and of course, West Texas is pinnacle football sport. So I expect them to be somebody really to be dealt with, if not this year, in the future, for sure.
Yeah, UT Permian Basin, somebody to look into in the future is somebody competitive in the LSC. Hopefully not too competitive.
Not too competitive.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the LSC Football Roundup Show here at Javelina Broadcast Network.
Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
And we're back here at the LSC Football Roundup Show here at the Javelina Broadcast Network. And we're getting right close to kickoff here after a while, and we've got our predictions here coming up in just a few seconds. But first, let's talk a little bit about A&M Commerce and how they fared last week. And they kind of overcame, road test last week.
Well, we called our week one win redemption for getting back at Incarnate Word the year before. And Commerce probably feels the same way right now. They dropped a 7-point game at home last year to Delta State. This year they got to go to Delta State, and the score is a little closer than what the game actually appeared to be. So Commerce is loaded again.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Hopefully we can we got to go up there and we got to play those guys, and let's see how we fare this year. Mr. Bradshaw, what do you think about Commerce as far as what they've been able to do these past few games?
I personally think that they're going to be our biggest test, with probably Midwestern second to that. They bring a lot of people back. It'll be a tough game. Not saying we're not going to win it, but it's going to be a tough game.
It's going to be an interesting game, definitely.
Yeah.
And you see how Luis Perez was able to put up 17 from, I think, 322 yards. I mean, that's moving the ball down the field.
Well, and that was his first start in an NCAA game too, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's something to definitely not bat an eye out. That's something to look at for a first coming in quarterback. You also got, I guess 471 yards total offense. They ran 64 plays. I mean, they had 9 for 91 yards in penalties, kind of high.
Well, that's about average. For the,
something I guess you'd expect.
Especially with a high octane offense, and with an offense even like we have, and with the exception of the back flips in the end zone, that type of thing.
definitely somersaults and hoorah going on the sidelines and in the end zone.
Yeah.
But better in the end zone than not at all.
That's true.
I guess we could say.
Yeah.
Minus that 15 yards.
Yeah.
But Delta State seems like they used to be kind of a powerhouse, and now it seems that
they're some years they just come out of nowhere and they'll go 3-4 deep into the playoffs, and the next year they'll be at 500. They play in the Gulf South Conference, which is kind of a mini SEC conference. There's always tough teams at the top, but you don't know which team necessarily is going to win the conference that year. They rotate it.
Yeah, it's kind of a gauntlet, I guess. So you've got different teams going in and beating each other up and kind of trying to make it out alive there.
It's been probably 4 years since we played them, beat them here in Javelina Stadium.
It was 2009.
That's further back than I thought.
Sorry, excuse me, 2010.
2010.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's been a little bit now. It seems.
We were the underdog too, or everybody was calling us that.
Well, they were the runner-up the prior year, so we were definitely the underdog.
Yeah.
Came in and they got what they asked for.
That was a heck of a game. A heck of a ball game.
Well, Panhandle State, they went in and they edge past UAPB. And,
well, that's good. Arkansas Pine Bluff is an FCS school, has up to 63 scholarships available. They're not the best FCS school out there, but still to go into someone else's backyard, a bigger school, and to get that win is great. I mean, we know the feeling from Incarnate Word, so they're on top of the world right now. They've got a good quarterback, so they're not going to be a walkover by any means.
Yeah, they were able to walk out of there with a win. 3 passing touchdowns. They're 2 for 3 in the red zone. Seems like they had it out for UAPB. Able to get that 20-16 win.
Yeah, and playing against Western New Mexico this week, I think they'll get their first Lone Star Conference win as well.
Yeah, Western New Mexico seems like they got a little struggles going on this few years.
Well,
they lost a lot of people.
Replacing a 13,000-yard passer at quarterback is tough, but they've got a UTEP transfer, Hall, and I think he'll eventually settle into the spot, but it may be a couple more weeks because he hadn't played really a whole lot of football in the last 5 years is on the bench there
We'll
at
see
UTEP.
how it plays out. Let's get the predictions for the game.
31-28 Javelinas.
Well, that's a pretty tight. I expected a bigger margin coming from you, Lewis.
Tough. Well, yeah.
I think we're going to win the game, and I think it's going to be close as well. But I'll go a little bit bigger margin. I'll say 35-28. Can't have any snafus on special teams. No more bad snaps on extra points.
That's right.
Every point is going to be precious.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up here for the LSC Football Roundup Show. Again, I'm Jared Wyatt. This is Mr. Lewis Bradshaw, Mr. Robbie Brown. Got more coming back from the Javelina Broadcast Network with the Tailgate Show. Stay tuned.
Blender, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Silverware, pa los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance pa los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
Thanks, Jared. The LSC conference does look a little tough this year, but nothing the Javelinas can't fight through. Breelove, what are your inside predictions on this conference?
Well, we probably discovered more in week 2 than we did in week 1, especially with Western Texas A&M. They faced off against Colorado Pueblo State, and they beat them pretty handedly by about like 16 points or so. And this Pueblo State team was nationally ranked 18th, 19th, around there, and that was a very impressive win by them. They shut them down. West Texas, the Aggies. And so it kind of adds, like, we come into the season, we knew A&M Commerce was going to be good. We knew Midwestern State was going to be good. We, of course, in Kingsville, we know the Javelinas are showing up and getting stuff done this year. But now we got West Texas A&M thrown in there. We have 4, like, legitimate teams that will challenge for this LSC title and beyond. So it's going to be one heck of a race this season.
Now this team is very young. Most of them are juniors and sophomores. They will be here next year for their senior year, possibly an even better season than this season already, which that's kind of hard to imagine because they just broke their undefeated streak last week. Now, we also have a team that is at each and every volleyball game, performs during halftime, and that is the dance team. Now, they don't get much credit as they need, but they are an organization, not an actual team yet because of some rules and regulations. And we do have a little inside scoop on that dance team, and here's what we found.
Our bond is very strong. We're together every day for 2 hours, and we're even together after practice. And we're like sisters. I love them.
To me, team spirit means that we're showing the love and the pride that we have for our wonderful university. Go Hoggies.
My favorite memory about being on the dance team so far has been dancing on the sidelines at the football games, cheering on our Hogs to victory.
The reason I chose to be part of the dance team is because I've been dancing since I was little and I wasn't ready to stop. So.
Well, after I graduate, I plan to open a fine arts studio, so teaching the dance team has really helped with learning how to teach basics because a lot of our girls have never danced before. Some of them are more advanced, so learning how to work with all the different levels.
My favorite thing about being on this dance team is being with a big group of girls that share the same passion.
Well, the first thing we do is we get ready on our own, and then after that we meet up in the designated area, and then after that we practice for a little while, go over stand routines, and then we help each other get ready, we fix each other's makeup or we'll help each other with our bows or whatever we need. And then from there we all huddle together and we either drive in one vehicle or we walk all the way to the stadium, and we get there super early so we wait for the game to start, and then after that we just line up on the sidelines, and then that's when the show starts.
To be on this dance team, it takes passion, patience, discipline, determination, and flexibility.
When I was 10 years old, I joined my school district's dance team, and ever since then I've just been in love with the idea of dance, and I just can't stop.
Being on the Javelina South Area dance team is so powerful because it brings all different kinds of girls together into one team who share the same passion for dancing and for our Javelinas. Now, as you can see, our dance team is not only hardworking and dedicated only to football, but also to other sports, showing up to all sporting events and hog calls, being there to cheer on sidelines, dance at halftime, or even cheer in the stands for our teams. The dance team also helps out so much as community service for other organizations or on campus. Now let's go to our tailgate reporter, Ashley Gonzalez, and see what she's up to.
Hey Javelina Nation, I'm Ashley Gonzalez with the Javelina Broadcast Network. I'm here with
Mark Cortez. I am owner of Music Time Productions. I do all the I handle all the stage events for the university for the tailgate parties. I also handle all the fall carnival, the spring fling, and pretty much all the music department, jazz festival. I handle all the audio and recording production for that. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. What are your predictions for tonight's game?
I think it's going to be a tough game. We're playing a ranked team. I think they're like 12th in the country. So I think the Javelinas have proven a lot the first couple of games. I think they're definitely a scrappier team than they've been in the past. So I'm looking for a really good game. I'm actually picking the Javelinas to come out by a field goal tonight. So.
All right. Big dreamer. I like it.
Right.
And what's your favorite part about tailgating? I know you're really busy most of the time, but what do you do to have fun?
You know, once we get everything set up, you know, the different acts that they have every week. Last week we had Jared Castillo, who was wonderful. He did a great job on stage. This week we happen to have the A&M-Kingsville Mariachi group. They're going to be playing at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So to me, getting to hear all the groups and really this is kind of turning into like a community event. There's not too many big community events in the city, so I think this kind of fills that void for everybody to come out and have a good time. So it's that's the part I like about it.
All right, thank you. We'll be right back after this break.
Go Hoggies.
Thanks, Ashley. Now, we did have 9/11 pass us just recently earlier this week, and we did have a 9/11 memorial here in Kingsville, Texas. We had a reporter live to get us some stories and some feedback from those who were there.
Hi, I am Kaina Martinez with the Javelina Broadcasting Network. We're here covering a tribute in remembrance to the love and loss of September 1st, 2001.
For the 15th anniversary of one of the most horrific events in U.S. history, the citizens of Kingsville were invited to pay respect to our servicemen and women and those who lost their lives. Following the events of the 9/11 attack, we asked Chaplain Christopher Sutton to share his thoughts about the attack.
My initial reactions during 9/11 was a lot of confusion. So I was a social worker in Burnet, Texas on September 11, 2001, and I was just at work trying to get stuff done, and this came on TV, and from that point, it seems everything changed. Remember.
Hosted by the Kingsville Ministerial Alliance, we caught up with several of the speakers to discuss the purpose of the tribute.
Well, this was a special year because it was the 15th anniversary of 9/11, and then it occurred on a Sunday. So Ministerial Alliance came together and said, why don't we do something in honor of the lives loved and lost on that day. So it was a special event where we wanted to honor first responders in our community and of course remember those who gave their lives on that day.
As a part of the Ministerial Alliance, as the leaders of churches, we want to see all the people come together and to just remember what has happened and that we just stand strong together. So we're here as a family to sing together, to pray together, and to remember because people lost loved ones. And it's important that we share in that comfort.
The community choir, along with Tamuk Orchestra Ensemble, performed several songs such as Amazing Grace, the Battle Hymns of the Republic, and God Bless America. As prayers and hymns were offered, attendees remembered 9/11, a day of sorrow and tragedy for America. But today, we will remain hopeful and we will never forget those who risk their lives every day for a better tomorrow. I am Kaina Martinez, reporting for JBN.
We appreciate all those who took part in this event in remembrance of this horrible tragedy that occurred 15 years ago. Now we also appreciate all those first responders who take part in this fight every day of their lives to protect our nation. From Javelina Nation, we all appreciate you.
Silverware, para los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance para los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month. Blender, para los que saben. Pronto Insurance, auto insurance para los que saben. Stop by for a free quote starting at $29 per month.
Welcome back to Pepsi Tailgate Central. Now, before we end our show, we will look back at Tailgate one last time to see what else is going on out there. Ashley, what do you have for us?
My name is Cactus Coral. I'm here at the tailgate in Kingsville for the Javelinas. Tonight, I'm here with Fit24, which is the gym here in Kingsville. We have good student discounts, so come on by whenever you have the chance. If you come by today, we have assorted beverages. Guys do 10 push-ups, girls do 10 squats, and you can keep coming all day if you'd like. So just come by and see us. We think that the game's gonna be really good tonight. We think it'll be kind of a nail-biter rather than how it was the last game, but I think it'll be really great and the Javelinas will come out with a win.
And what do you think the score's gonna be?
77-12 or something.
I'm loving it. All right, and what's your favorite thing about tailgate?
I think just how the community and the college all come together and all the alumni get together and we all get to just enjoy it.
All right, thank you. And thank you again. Make sure you tune in for the next next home game at 2 o'clock, and thanks for tuning in.
Now, before we end our second Pepsi Tailgate Central show, we're going to give a quick little inside scoop on what we feel the score will be for tonight.
Well, I think this game, we're coming in with Midwestern State. They are a nationally ranked team, and so it won't be the cakewalk the Javelinas had last weekend, and neither will it be, I think they'll put maybe even better challenge than UIWA week 1. And the Javelinas still need to resolve some of the mistakes, and I feel like we're still going to see some some drive-ending penalties. We might see an extra PAT miss here and there. So I would put the Javelinas to win this one close, 25-20. I think they're going to be going against a much stronger defense than Simon Fraser. Not an elite defense, but I think they'll still get on the board quite a bit.
And he's right. I do feel this will be harder for our team. This is a nationally ranked team, first LSC conference game. I feel it'll be 20-22. Thank goodness we still have all of our key players in there still playing. None of them are injured. Thank goodness for that. But we do hope to see all you all there at the game tonight, making it more interesting for our players, our coaches, and of course our fans. Now catch us next week here at 2 p.m. at tamook.tv. Have a great rest of your Saturday.
Texas A&M University-Kingsville thanks you for watching this special presentation of student-directed and produced media by the Javelina Broadcast Network.